Welcome back to class, everyone. Today we're going to cover the second part of my how to write a comic book series, tutorials, thingos, whatever you want to call them. And this one is all about scripting. So we're going to we'll start off by going over the way to format a comic book script. You'll remember in the last video, and if you haven't watched the last video, pause this one and watch that one. But in the last one, we came up with a plot synopsis and we blocked it out and we broke it down into chapters. So what we aim to do here is to take those chapters and convert them into comic book script. So the first way to do that is to get your layout ready. And I'll explain how we do that now. We'll start by looking at Green Lantern #1 by Geoff Johns. This is a really good script to sort of base off because it covers everything you need to know for a comic book script. So as you can see here, your first page should be the reference page. You'll title your comic so they know what issue, etc. it is. But what's really important here are the references. Start with the references. This is the first thing your artist is going to have a look at when he or she is, figuring out the look for this. So everything that you think that he or she needs to see should be in there, be it key locations, visual references for buildings, interiors, weapons, anything you think that is important for your artist to know, because your artist might not be from the city that the story is written in. Your artist might be from another country, etc. So all of this stuff is very important. Your artist might not be an expert on aeroplanes. So if you can get those references early, he or she can have them saved and ready to go. So that way, when she or he is drawing said book, it's so much easier to have those references already. So page 1, references. Okay, so your next page should be characters. This is your supporting cast and your main cast, and separate the two as well. So every single character who shows up in this comic book should be here with a description about who they are, what they do, personality types, their skills. Everything you know about that character should be here. It's very important for your artist, and on top of that, for the people reading your script for potential publishing, to get an idea of who these characters are before they read the script. It'll make, for your artist's sake, it'll make them more realistic, and they'll be able to get in that character's head more for the art process. And for your potential publisher's side, it'll give them the backstory they need to understand these characters better, so they're not going in blind upon the first read, giving you a better chance that someone's going to enjoy and want to publish your work. So page 2, supporting cast and cast members. Every character in the story that's, not just a NPC walking in the background, needs to have a description. So now that we have our characters detailed and we have our references, it's time to talk about the setting. And I know, Manaya, this is the boring stuff. I want to write my story. I get it, but this is all not for you. This is for the people who are going to be reading this and building it, because your artist needs everything they can to make this the best way it can. Follow along with me. It'll all make sense towards the end. So here is where we talk about the setting, all the locations that this story takes place in, what they look like, what tone they should have. Every little detail you can write about these areas that'll give your artist a better idea about how to draw it, and it'll give your publisher a better idea about the tone and the feeling and the grittiness or all those sort of descriptors for the setting to get immersed in your story is here. So they've got the sort of references, they've got the characters, and now they've got the setting, and it's all in their head ready, so that when they start reading the script, this is already here. They're not going in blind. Okay, thanks for sticking through. Now we're up to the fun stuff. From here on out, we need to write the story, and there's a particular way you do it. So you start off by numbering the page, and then you'll have a notes section, which isn't on this page, so bad example, but then you can add notes. And notes is anything you think the artist might need to know about anything on this page. Then you break it down to panel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, however many panels are on the page. And you might not know that at first, but that's the fun part of writing this, is you have to sort of have a visual idea of what's going on the page in your head as you write it. So you'll have panel 1, a description of panel 1. In this case, it's inside a locker on the top shelf. Hal's hand reaches for his Green Lantern ring. It's not glowing, just a slash of light glinting off of it. That is enough for the artist to go, okay, I know what I need to draw. Then you'll have your dialogue. Now, it's very important for your dialogue to be numbered. So as you can see on this page, the first line of dialogue is caption, Hal, my ring lets me fly. Then, in panel 3, we have the second and third line. Caption, Hal, that might have to be enough. Ring, disembodied electric. Jordan, that's line 3. Right? So, you need to number your dialogue. Now, the reason for this is, once this comic is actually written, and you're trying to ship it off to a publisher or a potential artist, they're going to want to know what they have to draw. So the common questions you're going to get asked from comic book artists is, how many panels? How many lines of dialogue? Because your letterer is going to want to know that, because that is how they form a quote on what it's going to cost. If you can't provide them with this information, a lot of professional artists are going to assume you're an amateur and they may not want to work with you. If you can tell them, look, the book is 10 pages long. There's a total of 48 panels. There's 19 lines of dialogue. It gives them a good idea as to what they have to work with. They can formulate a quote on what they need to do, and you're more likely to get an artist to do your writing for you. Also, when it comes to drawing this stuff, this is easy for the artist to look at and break down and know exactly what they're doing to make space for the dialogue, etc., etc. It's just a good format. It might look weird because people are used to reading, screenplays and stuff, but the comic book format works, and the professionals use this format because it works. Give it a go. It's one of those things where in your head, you'll be like, oh, yeah, this definitely, like, now that I've written it out, it makes a lot of sense. And when you pitch this to an artist, you're going to feel so good being able to tell them confidently, yep, 10 pages, 48 panels. It just works. The next important thing to pay attention to here is in panel 2, you can see after he's described the panel, now there's no dialogue here, but he's added a little special sound effects, fwam or fwam. You got to put these in so that the letterer knows, like, there's a special effects on this page, and that the artist knows that too, so they can make space and lay out the image the best way possible to incorporate that stuff. So that concludes part 2 of my how to make a comic book series of sort of tutorials. They're kind of weird tutorials, but in my experience, this is how I learn. And I've never been able to find a video that sort of explains this stuff. Everyone has their way of doing it. So I hope maybe me doing it my way, there's someone out there like me who sees this and goes, oh, thank gosh, I understand this. Next week, maybe not next week, but next lesson is going to be on taking your script and formatting it into panels that you can send off to your artist to, once again, make the drawing process better. Because if you do all of this, your artist is going to be able to put out better quality stuff. So stay tuned. As always, subscribe and comment. Let me know what you think. Yeah, over the next week or two, script out your comic like this. If you want, like, hit me up. I'll give it a read. I'll tell you what I think. Not that my opinion really matters. Next time we'll show you how to take that script and put it onto the paper so that your artist has something else to work with. In the meantime, all the best.